न जाने क्या मतलब अगर वो खत्म हो जाए तो हमारा भी रोजगार टूट जाएगा।
इसी से हमने बच्चे पाले, पढ़ाई लिखाए, हम तो छोड़ेंगे नहीं, भले बच्चे करे न करे, हमारा तो रोजी का यही है। जब तक हमारा हाथ पाँव चलेगा हम तो छोड़ेंगे नहीं इस धंधे को।
वो आगे करे न करे उनकी इच्छा है, अब हम तो जब तक हैं तब तक चला रहे हैं।
The Mountain Weavers is the story of the sheep rearers, shepherds and weavers involved in the business of wool trade. Situated in the picturesque Himalayan valley, Bagori is a small village in the Bhatwari block of the Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. Located 45 kilometers from the Gangotri group of mountains, Bagori came into being in 1962 after the India-China war. Most of the inhabitants of the village belonged to the Nilang and Jadung villages on the Indo-Tibetan border, from where they were displaced and rehabilitated post-war in Bagori due to security concerns. These people are also known as Jad Bhotia, and even though it seems to be an ordinary tribe, their tradition and culture give them a unique place in history. For centuries, sheep rearing, making wool and crafting woolen garments have been their traditional trade. The three pillars of this trade are sheep rearers, shepherds and the weavers. After spending the summer and monsoon in the meadows, the shepherds have descended to the lower regions with their flock, as winter is round the corner. On the Gangotri National Highway, 6 kilometers from the village of Bagori, the shepherds make their night halt and will leave for the village very early in the morning for sheep shearing. Each year, the sheep rearers from Bagori hand over their sheep to the shepherds, who take the flock to the meadows in the upper reaches of the mountains. It is distinctly evident that finding enough grass to graze for the 35,000 sheep and goats of the village in the nearby areas would be an impossible task. And therefore, it becomes imperative that the shepherds travel long distances with their flock so that the sheep get their proper daily meal. Because of the developmental activities taking place in Uttarakhand, there has been a rapid shrinkage of forest areas, and what little remains is under the Forest Conservation Program. Due to this, it is difficult for the shepherds to find enough grazing land for their flock.
नीचे तो सर हमका हमारा खतरा है सर, हम पेड़ भी काटना है सर, अगर नहीं काटेंगे सर हम तो हमारा मालिक बोलेगा तुम्हारा काय का हमने मजदूरी देना है, क्यों तुमको हम तनख्वाह देना है, तो सर हमको पेड़ भी काटना पड़ता है, थोड़ा बहुत लोपिंग करना पड़ती है, जिसका हम नमक पानी खा रहे हैं इसका आराम नहीं करना चाहते हैं.
From September till February, they descend to the lower reaches of Uttarkashi, Tehri and Rishikesh to protect themselves from the extreme winters. It is only with the coming of summers that these sheep will once again taste the sweet grass of the meadows. This year, due to the weather, the sheep shearing program started in the month of August. Sheep shearing is like a community program where all the people make their contribution, but the owner of the herd pays 15 to 20 rupees per sheep to the villagers. The hopes of a reasonable earning for the rearer lies in the wool, which has grown for nearly 8 months since it is rich not just in terms of quality but quantity as well.
एक दो बोर अपना कम्बल वगैरह के लिए अपना रखते हैं, उससे जो 7-18 बोरी होगा वो गवर्नमेंट ले जाता है खाली बोर्ड वाला.
Madan Singh Rana is one of the few sheep rearers who have more than 500 sheep. Not everyone in the village is as fortunate as him. Narayan Singh is one of those sheep rearers. He now owns only 70 to 80 sheep. There was a time when he owned a flock of 750 sheep and goats. times have changed, and so has his fortune. Like a lot of other villagers, he too was forced to sell his flock in order to survive. Now, he's unable to afford a shepherd for his flock and even has to work as a shepherd for other sheep rearers.
धीरे धीरे बेच ही रहे लोग बाग जिसको आदमी नहीं मिल रहे, तो इस प्रकार से धंधा लुप्त हो रहा है। जैसे 400 भेड़ है, उसके लिए 4 आदमी चाहिए, 4 नौकर चाहिए। जब मालिक को नौकर नहीं मिलता तो उस भेड़ तो जगह जगह खो जाएंगे, करने का इस तरह से बहुत परेशानी है।
Before 1962 war, they have been going to Tibet, then Tibet, for trade. They are affected because of shrinkage of forest areas. The forest department is trying its best to identify the areas where exactly they would go, and that is marked in the management of working plan.
After sheep shearing, the villagers will depart for Dunda, which is their winter home. The season lasts for a period of 20 to 25 days, after which the village will be completely isolated. Narayan Singh's family has already left for Dunda, and today he is also headed in the same direction. After meeting his family in Dunda, he will once again go away for months to the mountains as a shepherd. As he departs from the village, he prays at the temple and asks the goddess to bless him so that he gets a fair price for the wool that was sheared this year. Even in the most adverse conditions, he has been able to find a good match for his older daughter, but the responsibility of his younger one still lies on him. The weather is beginning to change. As the days go by, cold will begin to ascend and frigid winds will start to blow. By December, it will start to snow and the entire region will be covered with 4 to 6 feet of snow. To escape the bitter assault of winters, the people of Bagori made a winter dwelling out of Dunda, which lies 73 kilometers below Bagori. Due to its proximity to the city of Uttarkashi, and with the passage of time, outsiders have merged with the people of Bagori in Dunda. It is difficult to comprehend by looking at the people of Bagori as to where their ancestors originally came from. The wool from the sheep comes mainly in 3 colors: black, cream and brown. And just as the wool is woven together, the 3 pillars of this industry, the sheep rearers, shepherds and weavers, have also merged so well that it is difficult to make out that they have come from different places and have settled together. While most of the sheep rearers are from the Bhotia community, the shepherds are from various places from around Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, while the weavers mostly belong to the Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh. Besides these, a very important link in this chain are the women of the Bhotia community, who are adept at the art of preserving and keeping wool, spinning and knitting. Unlike Bagori, urbanization has started spreading its roots in Dunda, and a lot of people living here have adapted to the urban way of life. Most of the houses in the village are concrete, and urbanization is not just limited to housing and modes of transportation, but can also be felt and seen in the attitudes and choices of the younger generation.
कुछ इंटरेस्ट नहीं लेता, वो मतलब करना ही नहीं है उस धंधे को भविष्य में, पढ़ लेके और धंधा करेंगे, इस धंधे में आएगा नहीं.
The Bhotia community of Bagori moves to Dunda and easily adapts to the urban lifestyle, but at the same time, they are strongly connected to their roots. Before coming to Dunda, they celebrate their main festival with a lot of enthusiasm. However, for the next 6 months, Dunda will be home for the residents of Bagori, and the entire process of spinning and weaving will be completed here.
और मफलर है, दुमकर है और शाल है, लेडी शॉल वगैरह, और जिस प्रकार से बनाए वो बना लेते हैं.
Due to the decrease in demand for woolen items, most of the sheep rearers find it more profitable to sell most of the wool to Khadi Gramodyog.
अक्टूबर से ये भेड़ पालक हासिल से वापस आना शुरू हो जाते हैं डूंडा पे, ऊल को भी अपने साथ लाते हैं. तब इसी केंद्र पे खादी ग्रामोद्योग के बोर्ड परिसर पे ऊन खरीदारी होती है. 350-400 कुंटल पर ईयर ऊल हम इनसे खरीदते हैं.
The traditional trade of Dunda has been around for half a century, but today it is surrounded by difficulties due to its discordant nature, and as a result, the new educated generation is heading towards getting jobs in government and non-government organizations instead of trying to tread the tough path of their traditional trade.
अब जैसे हम लोग हैं शहर के नज़दीक रहते हैं, पढ़ाई लिखाई करते हैं, तो हमारा ध्यान पढ़ने में ज़्यादा जाता है, तो इन काम के लिए हमें टाइम नहीं मिल पाता उतना. और लोग अब गाँव को छोड़ के शहर में बसने लगे हैं, तो जब शहर जाएंगे तो वो इस काम को छोड़ ही देंगे, तो इस चक्कर से भी थोड़ा कम हो रहा है न्यू जनरेशन में.
जैसे भेड़ बकरियां, जो हमारा ये व्यवसाय जो है चल संपत्ति है सर, पता नहीं कब जो है क्या कुछ ऐसा उनके साथ आपदा हो जाए, और कभी भी जो है नुकसान का जो हम मूल्यांकन नहीं कर सकते सर, कभी भी कुछ हो सकता है सर.
Sheep rearing and the wool trade is slowly dying away. The increase in apple orchards of Harsil and Bagori gives them some relief and is a good and viable option for earning a decent living. The people who have few or no sheep are able to generate some income by working in the apple orchards. Narayan Singh is one of them. It is not that they do not have other options, but the situation is not conducive. Before being displaced from Nilang and Jadung, they traded with the nomadic tribes of Tibet.
इधर क्षेत्र से हमारे बुजुर्ग लोग अन्न ले जाते हैं, यानी ये फाफड़ा हुआ, जौ हुआ, ये पहाड़ी अन्न, चावल हुआ, इनको अपने भेड़ और घोड़े खच्चरों पे लाद करके उधर तिब्बत जाते हैं, और वहाँ से उसके साथ बदले में जो है व्यापार करके घी और ये पश्मीना जिसे कहते हैं, बहुत कीमती बकरे का ऊन होता था, उसके अंदर होता है वो पश्मीना, खाडू, बकरा, घोड़ा, कुत्ता, गाय, और ये क्या कहते हैं, ये औरतों के गले में पहनने का मूंगा, सोना इत्यादि इत्यादि लाके इधर उधर करते हैं.
Owing to their trade relations with the Tibetans, they have accumulated exquisite jewelry that has become part of their family heirloom. Due to the strict laws that prohibited them from crossing the borders, they had no option but to develop the wool trade. They not only took it up, but also worked hard at creating a market for themselves. But the changing times have put a question mark on the future of this traditional business. Due to the delay in efforts made by the government to resolve the situation, it is slowly getting worse instead of showing any signs of improvement.
इसमें ना गवर्नमेंट ने ना कोई प्राइवेट कोई ऐसी बड़ी संस्थाओं ने ऐसा कोई काम नहीं किया है जिससे कि यहाँ पे ऊनी वस्त्र उत्पादन के लिए अच्छे प्रोसेसिंग की व्यवस्था नहीं किया गया है.
Many Bagori villagers have completely given up sheep rearing. They stay in Dunda throughout the year and work in various government and non-government divisions for a living. Naveen Negi is one of those people. He is a physical education teacher in a school near Dunda. Although Naveen and his family have completely abandoned the sheep rearing tradition, they are still attached to the trade of woolen clothes. Naveen, having the advantage of an education, has been successful in finding an individual international market for his products, but on a small scale.
पसंद आया, उन्होंने सामान ले गया. उन्होंने मुझसे ये भी कहा कि भविष्य में भी जो है आगे कि मैं आपसे जो है कांटेक्ट करूंगा और आप मुझे जो है सामान इंग्लैंड भेज देना और पार्सल के जरिए जो है. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, और अगर ऐसा हो जाता है तो हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है और मेरे गांव वाले के लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है.
This individual effort of Naveen Negi or a few other people will not be able to ensure the holistic development of the village. However, if other people would also put in their efforts for finding a stable and sustainable market, the possibility of a change cannot be denied. With this in mind, Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, in collaboration with Uttarakhand's Directorate of Industries, started the cluster scheme in 2008.
क्लस्टर योजना के तहत वहाँ पे उनको CFC एक कॉमन फैसिलिटी सेंटर का निर्माण करवाया जा रहा है, जिसमें आपका कार्डिंग, वीविंग, कॉम्बिंग और फिनिशिंग प्लांट में लगना है.
There might still be hope for the scheme initiated by the government, but the villagers are not very optimistic about its success and the benefits.
अब इस हाल में हमारा एक क्लस्टर बना है यहाँ पे बीरपुर डुंडा में, तो उसको 2 साल होने को जा रहा है, बस तीसरा साल चलने वाला है, लेकिन वो अभी दम पड़ गया. पता नहीं किस कारण वो दम पड़ा है.
There is no dearth of problems here, from sheep rearing to finding a viable market for the woolen clothes. These traditional wool traders have to struggle for their livelihood at each step. In this era of modernization, the sheep rearers, shepherds and weavers have to stand against the competition created by the commercial enterprises, and in such a face-off, it is certain that they cannot win.
गर्ल्स हैं या बॉयज है वो आजकल फैशनेबल चीज पसंद करते हैं, तो ये बहुत ऑड सा पुराना सा है, तो इसलिए मेरी राय से तो मैं नहीं पसंद करूँगी.
Gradually, the lingering hope of these people seems to be dying away.
भविष्य साहब इसका खाली यही है कि आगे बढ़ने मुश्किल देख रहा हूँ मैं. हमने तो जिस ढंग से काटा आगे अगला पता नहीं भविष्य क्या है, क्या होता है, क्या नहीं होता, ये तो हमें मालूम नहीं.
Is there really no way to salvage this dying tradition? Is there no demand at all for the natural wool and the clothes made from it?
People who like rustic, handcrafted, handwoven, handspun, natural products.
Experts and specialists believe that the required sustainable development model should incorporate development and urbanization, while also sustaining the traditional arts and crafts of the country.
ऊन और बुनाई और बुनकर इस काम को करते हैं. इसके लिए भारत सरकार की भी योजना है जिसको हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, और राज्य सरकार की भी योजना है.
क्योंकि हमारे लिए ऐसी कोई व्यवस्था यहाँ पे नहीं हो रखी है सरकार की तरफ या कोई बाहर की संस्था की तरफ से, जिससे हमारा मार्केटिंग चले या हमारा माल कटता रहे बाहर सीजन में.
So is it definite then that there would be no renewal for this traditional trade? Is it doomed to anonymity? Maybe not. In Dhanolti near Mussoorie lies a clear ray of hope in the form of a commercial unit called Himalayan Weavers. An economist by profession, Professor Ghayur Alam started Himalayan Weavers in 2005 to give new direction to his passion for textiles and handicrafts. Very soon, he became aware of the problems hindering the appeal of traditionally made woolen clothes to the urban buyers. In most areas of Uttarakhand, woolen clothes that are traditionally made are not very soft, and their colors and designs are also not attractive enough to lure the national and international customers. Professor Alam was resolute in his decision to implement these fundamental features. The most daunting of all his challenges was the exclusive use of natural colors. This is the biggest limitation of the woolen items made by the weavers of Dunda. Even today, they depend on chemicals for color. Dr. Alam, through his intellect, knowledge and understanding, has gained mastery in the art of producing natural colors. Can't this successful experiment of Professor Alam be replicated to facilitate the weavers of Dunda? About 350 kilometers away from Mussoorie, the answer is concealed in a massive welfare scheme running successfully in the city of Almora. Panchachuli is a fully commercial unit having almost 200 women weavers. After its inception in 1995, it has successfully been conducting training workshops for rural women and further employing them for producing fine varieties of woolen clothes for national and international markets. The specialty of these products is the same as Mr. Alam's, traditionally made woolens, that is, pure woolen, hand-spun and hand-woven, and the use of natural dye. How has this been possible? Was any government scheme responsible for this massive development program? Or did it happen through the funds generated by an NGO? Ironically, neither of these. This success story has been materialized by the sheer passion and vision of a fearless lady named Mukti Datta.
Yeah, basically the motive behind starting a unit like Panchachuli was empowerment of women and seeing the condition of the women in the backward areas, in the rural areas, and how they had to slog from morning to evening on unproductive animal husbandry, agriculture. So the idea was to give them an alternative livelihood and also to revive the traditional art of weaving and spinning, which had been lost in these regions especially.
The success of Panchachuli corroborates the notion of a holistic development program for the entire community of Bagori and Dunda. But the question remains, who is going to take the initiative?
So I think basically what needs to be done out here is to give the women, to give these groups the knowledge, the techniques, the designs, the better qualities of wools, and to have it as a completely commercial enterprise and completely as a private sector commercial enterprise, which has nothing really to do with the government or with the NGO sector. What I would do is more to go with the banks that have today, like NABARD, the SBI, they all have all these schemes. They've got, crores of rupees waiting to be, disbursed.
Even if people like Ghayur Alam or Mukti Datta initiate a movement, the villagers first need to unite among themselves. The government needs to come forward with its policies to support such a cause. There is no doubt that this whole community of Bagori and Dunda can be converted into a massive rural industry. But this is just a proposition awaiting someone or some organization to shape it into reality. This year, Narayan Singh has decided to go with Madan Singh's flock of sheep. In his absence, his son awaits the service call letter in their house at Dunda. Navneet has been selected to serve in the ITBP. This is not just an indication, but also a confirmation that the tradition and practice of sheep rearing and spinning will slowly fade away from the family.
परंपरा को छोड़ने की बात नहीं है ना, तो ये नए जनरेशन है, इसमें भेड़ों की बहुत ही वो हो रही है, कठिनाई भी हो रही है भेड़ पालन में। पहले के बात ही अलग था कुछ, अब तो सब नौकरी है, नौकरी में चक्कर में पड़ते हैं, भेड़ पालन तो छोड़ ही दिया।
Narayan Singh's 82-year-old mother devotes most of her time in the worship of Lord Buddha. Perhaps with these prayers is woven her wish that even after she is long gone, the legacy and tradition of her family survives. These are the old and withering pillars of the Bhotia community who are still upholding their culture and tradition. But with the passage of time, they're slowly crumbling away. In the coming few decades, these remaining witnesses to the traditional mountain life will also succumb to time's cruelty. Before these pillars fall and with them bring down these ancient people and their tradition, art and culture, the next generation will have to come forward and hold them steady. The blatant urbanization in the name of growth and development needs to be critically evaluated very urgently, and the younger generation will have to be supported not just by government infrastructure and policies, but also by the society to escape the clutches of rampant urbanization. Only then can the traditional practice of these communities be saved.